Clean models, hidden costs. You leave a meeting with a clean dashboard and a green checklist, and somehow the next week explodes into escalations, rework, and approvals nobody budgeted for. The model looked airtight until reality charged interest. When models are made too clean to argue with, they become instruments of capture. They pull attention toward what is legible and push responsibility away from what is messy. A model is a simplified representation used to decide and allocate, useful precisely because it ignores most of the world. The claim is not that modeling is wrong. The claim is that cleanliness is an incentive. Clean models reduce friction in meetings, speed decisions, and protect reputations. But the same cleanliness also hides externalities, moves tail risk to the edges, and invites gaming through proxies that can be optimized without serving the underlying value. Start with the constraint: limited time, limited bandwidth, limited authority. A team cannot inspect every case, replay every incident, or personally verify every promise. So the system builds proxies, scores completion rates, cycle times, defect counts, on-track status. Those proxies become the language of progress because they fit into dashboards and slide decks. Legibility is the price of coordination. Now the trade-off: legibility gained, fidelity lost. The model becomes an agreement about what counts, not a mirror of what is real. Cleanliness is achieved by stripping context, edge cases, ambiguous categories, second-order effects, because those are expensive to explain and hard to defend under cross-examination. The model grows persuasive by becoming sparse. Once a proxy is accepted, incentives snap into place. Promotions, budgets, and approvals flow toward the numbers that can be defended quickly. That creates a feedback loop. People do more of what improves the metric. Leaders see improving metrics. Leaders trust the metric more. The metric becomes more central. Dissent becomes harder because dissent has to fight a neat chart with messy stories. The model is no longer describing the work is rearranging itself to satisfy the model. This is where proxy drift enters. The original intention might be reduce customer pain, but the proxy becomes reduced ticket count. So tickets are merged, reclassified, or discouraged. Or increased quality becomes increased test coverage, so teams write tests that touch lines without covering behaviors. Or improve reliability becomes reduced incident count, so incidents are split into minor categories or quietly handled without logging. None of this requires malice. It is ordinary optimization under constraint. Clean models also relocate tail risk. Tail risk is the low-frequency, high-impact failure that the average metric smooths away. A mean response time can look stable while rare. Catastrophic delays pile up in the corners. A quarterly risk score can look calm, while a single dependency quietly becomes brittle. The model is clean because it compresses variance into a single number. The cost is that the variance still exists, only now it is someone else's problem, later. And notice who receives that later. The edges are the people and processes not represented. Support teams absorbing angry calls, operations absorbing brittle handoffs, new hires absorbing undocumented assumptions, users absorbing downtime, partners absorbing unpredictability. The clean model becomes a rent extraction device. It collects credit where measurement is crisp and exports cost where measurement is weak. The cleanest models are often the hardest to challenge because they are defensible in the room. They satisfy the meeting constraint. You can point, compare, rank, and decide. But cleanliness can be a kind of strategic silence. It leaves out what would slow the decision or complicate accountability. And what becomes invisible is not just data, it is ownership. This is not a call to abandon measurement. It is a reminder that measurement is never neutral. It is an attention machine. When attention is captured by a tidy proxy, meaning is compressed into whatever the proxy can count. Human values, care, trust, safety, durability, learning, often live in the parts that are hard to quantify and slow to observe. When the model is too clean, those values become soft, which usually means unfunded. Responsibility then follows the metric, not the mission. People learn to protect the number because the number is what survives scrutiny. So the question, what becomes invisible, is also a question about identity. What kind of worker, teammate, or builder is rewarded here? The system teaches that a clean story is safer than an accurate one, that uncertainty is a liability, that nuance is a delay. Over time, attention narrows. The person becomes fluent in the dashboard and illiterate in the edges, and the edges do not stay at the edges. Tail risk migrates inward on the day it triggers. Then the same system that demanded clean certainty asks why nobody warned it. The warning was there, just not in the model. Hold one metric in mind that you currently serve, not as an enemy but as a fact. Then hold one value that metric cannot represent, the value that gets erased when the number becomes the whole story. Notice what the system permits when the number rises, which shortcuts become efficiency, which omissions become focus, which reclassifications become clarity. Notice what the system constrains, which conversations are postponed because they are messy, which risks are tolerated because they are rare, which people are asked to absorb the variance because they are off dashboard. Reflection here is not a mood. It is a practice of seeing the unpriced cost and the unowned outcome. The model can be clean and still be incomplete. The only question is whether the incompleteness is acknowledged or exploited. A clean model wins the meeting, but it can also sell the future for a presentable chart.